My name is Daniel Mercer, and I did not come to Egypt to prove anything. I came because something kept calling me back in my dreams, pulling at me with the patience of stone and the certainty of fate. The dreams always began the same way. A corridor of ancient granite, narrow and suffocating, the walls pressing closer the longer I walked. There was always a sound, a low hum that did not reach my ears but resonated somewhere deeper, inside my bones, inside my teeth. When I woke, my hands trembled as if they remembered the weight of something vast and alive. After the third identical dream, denial became impossible. I booked the flight. The Great Pyramid was silent when I entered it that morning, far too silent for a monument that had swallowed thousands of lives, prayers, and secrets. My guide, Omar Hassan, waited near the entrance passage, nervously checking his phone, pretending not to watch me too closely. 10 minutes, he said. No more. The guards won't wait. I nodded, though my attention had already drifted away. The air inside the pyramid felt aware. Every step echoed longer than it should have, as if the stone delayed the sound to listen first. My flashlight slid across granite blocks polished with impossible precision. No mortar, no gaps, no answers. That was when I felt it. A pressure behind my eyes, rhythmic and patient. One limestone block on the southern wall was warmer than the rest. Smoother. Wrong. This is impossible, I whispered. As an archaeologist, I knew every documented surface of this chamber. I had memorized the scans, the measurements, the arguments, and yet this stone did not exist in any record. When I pressed it, the pyramid answered. The hum rose instantly, no longer distant but overwhelming. Symbols flared across the walls, not carved but remembered, glowing like after-images burned into the stone itself. The floor dissolved beneath my feet. There was no scream, no pain, only the sensation of being pulled inward, through layers of heat and shadow, through whispers spoken in voices older than language. I collapsed onto hot sand beneath a merciless sun. The smell hit me first. Sweat, dust, freshly cut stone. I scrambled upright, heart racing, and froze. The pyramid stood unfinished before me, its white casing gleaming like the spine of a newborn god. Ramps spiraled around it, alive with motion. Thousands of men and women moved in perfect coordination, hauling massive limestone blocks as priests chanted in low, resonant tones that made the air shimmer. I was no longer in my time. A shadow fell across me. A man in linen robes stared down, his eyes sharp as obsidian. "You stepped where only the chosen may step," he said calmly. "My name is Kayem. I expected fear or violence. Instead, they studied me like an omen. My clothes were strange to them, my speech awkward, yet understanding settled in my mind as if the language had been waiting for me. They led me through the living construction site. Up close, the pyramid felt less like a building and more like a creature mid-creation. Every stone placement was accompanied by sound. Chants that did not force the stone, but asked it, and the stone obeyed. "These are not work songs," I whispered. "They are permissions," Kayem replied. Beneath the pyramid lay chambers older than dynasties, carved before the first stone was placed above. There I met Neferet, a priestess whose gaze seemed to pierce thought itself. Bowls of water surrounded her, trembling in perfect rhythm with the pyramid's hum. "You crossed the veil without dying," she said. "That means the gods are undecided." She listened to my memories without touching me. Visions rose unwillingly, my world of glass and steel, my arrival, my fear. The water rippled with each unspoken thought. "You carry an echo of a future not yet allowed," she said. Deeper still, she showed me carvings of beings that were not gods, but principles given form. The pyramids were anchors, tuning reality so it would not tear itself apart. "When the tuning fails," she said quietly, "time bleeds." That night I dreamed of stone opening like skin and voices chanting my name. I woke with blood on my palm, the seal of passage carved into my flesh. Kayamwaset went pale when he saw it. "You are chosen," he said, "or cursed." Time began to resist me. Workers repeated moments that had not yet happened. Tools vanished and reappeared. The stars shifted subtly each night. Even the pyramid's hum changed when I passed, uncertain whether to welcome or reject me. Neferre led me to the lowest chamber, where the plate of return slept beneath symbols that moved when I tried to focus on them. "You may go back," she said, "but not without consequence." If I returned with too much knowledge, my world would burn itself on truths it had not earned. If I stayed, my absence would hollow my future, creating a different kind of collapse. The gods spoke not in words, but vibration. The witness must choose. At the living heart of the pyramid, I fell to my knees. It was not stone, but light and shadow, breathing slowly, patiently. It showed me visions, cities rising too early, skies burning, oceans retreating. Knowledge without wisdom, power without restraint. "You are a fracture," it spoke within me, "but fractures may become doors." Neferet placed a small tablet in my hands. "Principles," she said. "Harmony, not power." As the alignment came, the plate of return rose. Pain tore through me as time demanded payment. Memories burned away. Equations, symbols, entire chambers of understanding stripped from my mind. I screamed as time reduced me to what it deemed survivable. "I will not be your prophet," I whispered, "and I will not be your weapon." I pressed the plate. Silence. Cold stone pressed against my cheek. The king's chamber. Omar was shaking me, shouting my name. According to his watch, I had been gone for less than 10 seconds. In my hand was a warm stone fragment, etched with a single symbol. Back in Cairo, doctors called it dehydration, hallucination. I did not argue. The fragment never cooled. When I touched it, I felt balance, not knowledge. Whenever scholars came too close to forbidden understanding, it warmed in warning, and I intervened quietly. I never returned to the pyramid. Some nights I dream of Neferet beneath a nameless sky, and of Kayemwaset watching a horizon that will never change. Sometimes I feel the question rise from the future. Is the world ready now? I close my hand around the warm stone. Not yet. The pyramid listens, and beneath the sand something ancient still breathes. The days that followed blurred into something that felt less like living and more like existing inside a breath held by the world itself. I was allowed to move freely among the builders, though never without eyes upon me. Children followed at a distance, whispering that I was the man who fell from stone. Some bowed. Others looked afraid. Kayemwaset taught me the rituals of alignment. At dawn, priests traced lines in the sand that mirrored the stars above, adjusting ramps and chambers not by measurement alone, but by omen and intuition. I witnessed a stone crack when placed a finger width too far, and another glide perfectly into place when a chant was corrected by a single syllable. One evening, a young builder named Senu collapsed screaming, claiming he had seen himself die beneath a stone that had not yet fallen. Neferet confirmed the vision had come from the future. time was leaking. Your presence widens the wound, she told me, but you also slow it. That is the paradox. I began to understand then. The pyramid was not merely reacting to me. It was learning from me, adapting, testing outcomes through my existence. After my return, the world felt thinner, as if reality had lost a layer I could still sense but never touch. Sounds sometimes echoed twice. Reflections lagged behind my movements. Once, in a university hallway, I saw a sandstone corridor overlay the modern walls for a single heartbeat. The stone fragment grew warmer during moments of global unrest. Wars, discoveries announced too soon, experiments halted at the last moment by doubt no one could fully explain. I realized then that I had not escaped the pyramid's purpose. I was still an anchor, not a guardian of secrets, but a reminder of limits. When students asked why humanity never truly agreed on how the pyramids were built, I answered honestly. Because the truth arrives only when we are capable of surviving it. Not all welcomed my continued presence. A faction among the priests believed I was not a stabilizer, but a contamination. They called themselves the keepers of the first silence, and they argued that the pyramid had already learned enough from me. Anything more, they claimed, risked awakening forces meant to remain dormant until the end of cycles. One night, as the moon hung low and red above the desert, they tried to end me. I felt it before I saw it, the hum collapsing inward, the pyramid recoiling in warning. Stone shifted. Shadows thickened. 3 priests stepped from the darkness, their chants sharp and cutting, meant to sever my connection to the living structure. But the pyramid answered before I could. The floor vibrated violently, throwing them to their knees. Symbols ignited across the walls, burning bright enough to blind. A voice filled the chamber, not loud, but absolute. The witness remains. The priests fled in terror. Kayamwaset later told me no such words had ever been spoken aloud by the pyramid before. I realized then that I was no longer merely tolerated. I was protected. Before my return, Neferet showed me one final vision, not of destruction, but of divergence. 2 futures unfolded side by side. In the first, I returned with knowledge intact. Humanity mastered energy too quickly, bent time without restraint, and collapsed under its own certainty within centuries. In the second, the truth of the pyramids remained fragmented, debated, incomplete. Progress was slower, messier, but civilization endured. You will be blamed for ignorance, Neferet said softly, but never for extinction. When I awoke in my time, that choice echoed through every quiet intervention I made. Careers redirected, discoveries delayed. The fragment of stone warm against my palm, steady as a heartbeat. I understood at last. The pyramid was never built to glorify the dead. It was built to protect the living. And as long as I breathe, I remain part of that ancient design.